the candles, and as I watch them shine, I think of what they stand for, this heritage of mine. It's more than just a story of people long ago. It reaches to the present, and deep inside I know I am a light that shines with love and promise. The darkest night can never dim my glow. Imagine life where each of us ignites the flame inside, standing close together, standing for what's right. A million ways to say I am a light. The candle called the shamash burns with a special flame. It shares its fire with others so they can do the same. From the youngest to the oldest, there's so much we can do. Like those who came before us, we must burn brightly too. I am a light that shines with love and promise. The darkest night can never dim my glow. Imagine life where each of us ignites the flame inside, standing close together, standing for what's right. A million ways to say I am a light. Hand in hand, heart to heart, one by one, that's how it starts. I am a light that shines with love and promise. The darkest night can never dim my glow. Imagine life where each of us ignites the flame inside, standing close together, standing for what's right. A million ways to say I am a light.
I am a light.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, Hamidenu shomreinu l'chayim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, Hamidenu shomreinu l'chayim. Ufros aleinu Sukkot shlomecha, v'hoshienu b'man shemecha. Help us to know that you're near, that your presence is here. Let us lie down in peace every night. And when we rise in the day, keep us sheltered, we pray. Guide
with a type of muscular dystrophy called spinal muscular atrophy, and basically what it means is that I have some muscle weakness and I use a wheelchair to get around. There's two ways of going through life. You can look at challenges and let them stop you, or you can find creative ways to going about your dreams. Often I think people look at somebody with a disability and they assume that that person is less capable. I don't see my disability that way. I've always been Jewish and grown up in a Jewish house, but now I'm contributing to a Jewish community. Even something as simple as reaching the bima. For forever, this was not an experience that I had because there are steps to reach. And only recently has there been more awareness.
We've made some really great strides in the community around awareness. What we need to do is to be strategic and to look at where the barriers are and what we can do to remove them in each of our organizations, in our schools, in our community centers.
My days are busy. There's so much to do and see. So many people expect so very much of me because I love them. I always try to do my best, and as the sun sets, I make this Shabbat request. Shalom Rav, give me peace, oh God, I pray. Shalom Rav, peace for each moment of my day. Shalom Rav, within me plant a peaceful seed. Peace for the world begins with a peaceful me. When I am peaceful, trouble cannot follow me. I can help others to feel happy, to feel free. Give me the will, God, because it's what I want to do, to spread to others the peace that comes from you. Shalom Rav, give me peace, oh God, I pray. Shalom Rav, peace for each moment of my day. Shalom Rav, within me plant a peaceful seed. Peace for the world begins with a peaceful me. Peace for the world begins with a peaceful me.
One, two, three, four.
Shabbat טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד.
Shabbat Shalom. It is indeed wonderful for those of you who are here to be sitting together. It is always a pleasure to welcome those who might be joining us virtually into our sanctuary. We are Congregation Micah. I am Philip Rice. They do call me Rabbi Flip. We are thankfully joined by Miss Lisa Silver, our cantorial soloist and musical director. And tonight, we welcome the Sabbath as we welcome you. We will do that in a variety of different ways. The first thing we do is we think about the beginning. And in the beginning, we know that there was chaos. There was what was called tovu vavohu, and that the ruach Elohim merachefet al pnei hamayim, but a spirit of God passed over these chaotic waters, and God said, "Let there be light," bringing more order to the chaos and more light to the darkness. So we're going to do that now, and we're going to invite Pat and Rich Abelson to come on forward to begin opening our Sabbath as God began at the very beginning with the kindling of light.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu l'hadlik ner shel Shabbat. Praised are you, Adonai, our God, creator of the universe, creator of the universe. By your commandments we are sanctified as we kindle the lights of Shabbat. Amen.
Our welcomings continue as we welcome the Sabbath angels into this place. Are we starting to get warmed up? Are we ready? Here we go.
Shalom Alechem, Malachi Hasharet, Malachi Elyon, Imelech Malachi Hamlachim, Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Alechem, Malachi Hasharet, Malachi Elyon, Imelech Malachi Hamlachim, Hakadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Alechem, Malachi Hasharet. Kadosh Baruch Hu, Baruch Hu Min Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, Kadosh Baruch Hu, Shalom Alechem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seichem Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seichem Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Alechem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
It's chilly out, isn't it, out there? So it takes a little bit while for us to kind of warm up. Lisa and I are kind of bouncing out here. I see a few foreheads kind of going like this. So let's take a minute and make sure everybody knows somebody. So 90 seconds, stand up. This will help the warm-up part. Go say hi to someone that you haven't said Shabbat Shalom to because some people came in late. Or go meet someone new because that's a welcoming thing to do. So if you're watching at home, I don't know, maybe text a friend or I'm not sure. We're coming back here just a minute. This is our version now. We used to have oneg and pre-neg. Now we have like mid-neg.
I may have been the only one that heard that, Rabbi Flip.
I never like to break up good conversation. Oh, we got old people in the house. Maren Angus is here. She's getting married soon. Good time to change seats if you don't like your particular seats. And just as you're getting comfortable, I'll have you rise. And our warm-up will conclude with the words of Hatzi Kaddish.
Yitkara v'yitkara shomei rabba ba'ahama divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayachon u'v'yomechon u'chayei l'chol beit Yisrael b'gala u'vizman kariv v'immeru Yehei Shemei Rabba Mavorach L'olam Ul'almei Almaya Yitbarach Yitbarach v'yishtabach Yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnasei V'yithadar v'yitalev v'yitalal Shemei D'Kudusha Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata Tushbechata v'nechemata Damiran belma v'yimaru
Amen.
Ya la 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 Ya la 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 Ya la 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 Ya la 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 Ya la 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 Ya la 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 ברכו את אדוני
We invite you to take your seats, and we think of the gift of Torah and the gift of Miss Lisa, because she collaborated with the ancients to write this version.
אהבת עולם, בית ישראל, עמך אהבת. תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו למדת. על כן אדוני אלוהינו, בשוכבנו ובקומנו, נשיח בחוקיך, ונזמח בדברי תורתך ומצוותיך לעולם ועד. Everlasting love you gave your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot. And Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise, we'll rejoice in your Torah forever. Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha אהבת. תורה ומצוות, חוקים ומשפטים, אותנו למדת. שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד. ברוך שם כבוד, שם כבוד, מלכותו לעולם ועד.
We continue chanting words of Torah, the words of the Ve'ahavta.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים
Ani Adonai Elohechem.
You know, this is not the only service/show that Miss Lisa and I put on every weekend. That on Sunday mornings, this room is filled with a much younger crowd. And I love praying with you all. They can be more fun sometimes. But one of the things we do is we engage in aspects of the service and what it's trying to teach us, what the story is trying to teach us. And one of the great messages, I could argue that the whole Torah is about hope. So what makes you feel hopeful? And with the kids, it's not a rhetorical question. So does someone have something really good? What do you got, Mary? Oh, she just lifted up her engagement ring. That was a very good start. Yes. We're all excited about that. What else makes you feel hopeful?
Babies.
Say it loud, I can't.
Babies.
Babies make us feel hopeful. I think that's true. We also have the treat of spending a half hour every week, I do at least in the preschool, for our Tat Shabbat. They're also pretty good at praying. I got to tell you, they use their whole bodies. Yeah. Something else make you feel hopeful? Prayer makes me feel hopeful. I'm praying Cantor Josh Goldberg is anywhere near as good as this one over here. Anyway, the beauty of it is that the songs themselves that we sing and the messages they carry are also supposed to make us feel hopeful. That we believe, however our life is personally, communally, the whole world, it can still be made better than it is. And that hope has been brought to many people by our story and this song, and we invite you to sing it.
בוקע לפני משה, מלכותך ראו פניך, בוקע לפני משה. זה לי, אנו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך, לעולם לעולם ועד. מי כמוך באלים
This is when Rabbi Flip turns into Phil, like Phil Donahue. So we like to just pause at this point in our service usually, because there's usually things going on in the life of our community or in your personal lives that not only bring us hope, but bring us a little happiness and a little sense of joy. So Maren, that you started us off great. Do you want just come up here and be part of our blessing? Just come. We'll pretend Trevor's here. Maybe you should bring her. Yeah. You want to come up? Because אני קצת דואג מפני שהיא מדברת עברית. She speaks Hebrew, so I have to be under the behavior. Just stand right up here. Is anybody else celebrating anything in the community? You're pointing at people. That's not fair. That's he'll answer it. What do you got? An anniversary, a birthday. Come be part of the blessing. You get to be on TV. Oh, we're buying a house. Who's coming up? Come on. Something else we're celebrating. Okay, come on up. Come on. Drew, come up. You know you want the blessing. What do you got? Okay. So we'll give you a goodbye thing. It's evening it out because all the California people are coming here, and I was worried the earth was going to start in the middle. Anybody else? Something they're celebrating. Something happy, even if you don't want to come forward. Yes? Oh, that's a big deal. Birthday of a child. Yeah. kind of a bigger deal when it happened to you. What's up? What's going on back there? Come on up, tell us. You don't want to come up? Say it loud, proud. You bought a new house? You don't want to come celebrate that for a second? All right, they're coming up. Look into the camera. What do you got? Okay. So, for birthdays and new beginnings and celebrations of when there were new beginnings, and for love, and for friends old and new from across the pond, we could say, from Eretz Israel. For people who are coming and for people who are going, we offer all sorts of blessings in the celebration. We say, Misha Berak Avotenu V'imatenu, that this God, this power in the universe, that blessed any and all of us with moments of simcha, with moments of joy, continue to bless you all in this endeavor. And I'd like to remind you and everyone, continue to share those joys with us, making our Shabbos and our lives more fulfilling and more happy in general. Everybody, I got watch this. Everybody says. Okay, give him a round.
It's just like the Grand Ole Opry, Rabbi.
You've been good sports. You can go back and sit. Thank you very much. The joy has arrived. It's not always all about joy. And our story has highs and lows as a Jewish people. And we worry, I don't know, we pray, we thank, we camp. Really, we are in the wilderness in the story after the great miracle. And while we celebrate the good times, even during those times, we also ask for a certain amount of protection, that God will be on our side and that we'll feel safe as we continue the journey.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom V'hamidenu shomreinu l'chayim Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom V'hamidenu shomreinu l'chayim Ufros aleinu sukat Sukat shlomecha V'hoshienu l'man shemecha Help us to know that you're near, that your presence is here. Let us lie down in peace every night. And when we rise in the day, keep us sheltered, we pray. Guide us, God, with your love and your light. Baruch atah Adonai, hapori sukat shalom, aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chayim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chayim.
We've got another Lisa Silver original.
V'shamaru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat v'dorotam b'ritolah, a day of restoration, a cleansing of the soul, for all the broken pieces once again to be made whole, to celebrate the wonder of creation and the gift of time. Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael, od hi le'olam, ki sheshit yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et ha'aretz, uvayom hashvi'i Shabbat vayinafal. a day of restoration, a cleansing of the soul, for all the broken pieces once again to be made whole, to celebrate the wonder of creation and the gift of time, a day to appreciate the sacred in our world.
We rise together for Tefillah, our central prayer.
Adonai tzifatai tiftach ufi agi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol, HaGibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, v'Konei HaKol, v'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, Umevii Geula Livnei V'Nehem, L'ma'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Be'ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayei HaKol Atah Rav Le'Hoshia, Mechalkel Chayim B'Chesed, Mechayei HaKol B'Rachamim Rabim, Somech Nofalim V'Rofech Holim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishei Ne'afar, Michamocha Baal Gevurot, Umido Melach, Melech Meimit Umechayeh, Umatziach Yeshua, V'ne'emar atal hachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, U'kadoshim b'chol yom yahalelucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
So much beautiful music and wonderful voices. We also leave a little time for silence, for your own thoughts and prayers. And when you're done, you may be seated, and when most of us are sitting, we'll sing together.
Shalom, shalom, shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, tasim, tasim, tasim leolam, ki ata hu melech adon, v'chol hashalom. Ki ata hu melech adon, l'chol hashalom. Shalom, shalom, shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, tasim, tasim, tasim leolam. V'tov benecha levarech et amcha Yisrael, v'chol ed uv'chol shah Bishlomecha. Shalom, shalom, shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha. Tasim, tasim, tasim leolam. Tasim leolam.
My great-grandmother was from Kiev, and I'm pretty glad that she left. And I say that in preparation for our Misha Berach, our prayer for healing, because I'm thinking about all the people in that country and really all over the world who are just scared. How this virus, in some ways, as scary as it's been, has brought us together in our need for healing. And there are other names. There are people in our community, specifically Judith Mandel, Gail Hooper, T.J. Cohen, George Hahn, Wayne Ritt, Ariana Zaragoza, Curtis Haganah, Charlene Estrin. And those are just the ones we know about. So if you're thinking about someone and you'd like to say their name aloud, we certainly invite you to do so.
Susan Bernard.
So many sick people. We think of all corners of our planet in need of some sort of healing. Carrie's going to lower our lights, and we're going to pray for healing.
Elna Refana Lanu. Elna Refana Lanu. Dear God of our ancestors, help us renew our faith. Grant us a perfect healing. Bring peace to all our days. Elna Refana Lanu. Elna Refana Lanu. Restore our strength of body. Help clarify our minds. Refresh our tired spirits. Rejuvenate our light. Elna Refana Lanu. Elna Refana Lanu. Thank you for all these blessings throughout our days and nights. We celebrate the journey, this precious gift of life. Elna Refana Lanu. Elna Refana Lanu. Elna Refana Lanu. Elna Refana Lanu.
Thank you, Miss Lisa. Shabbat Shalom. There is an old Hasidic story about a village where the people were asked to each donate a small amount of wine to fill a large vat to present to the king and queen on their forthcoming visit to town. each villager, secretly, contributed only water instead of wine, arguing to themselves that such a small dilution would hardly be noticed in such a large gift. The royalty arrived. The villagers presented them with the vat. They drank from it and said, "It's just plain water." The tragedy of the commons. At the height of the drama of the golden calf, of which we read in the Torah this week, is a vivid and enigmatic scene. Moses has secured forgiveness for the people. And now on Mount Sinai again, like a chief negotiator with a Stanford law degree, Moses asks for more. He says, "God, Hode'eni et derachecha, teach me your ways. And har'eni na kivodecha, show me your glory." The Holy One, blessed be God, replies, "Oh, I will show you all the attributes of my goodness, even call out the divine name before you. Nevertheless, I will be kind only when I wish to be kind, and be merciful only when I wish to be merciful. For I, the eternal God, am compassionate and gracious, slow to anger, abounding in love and faithfulness, maintaining love to thousands, and forgiving wickedness and rebellion and sin." Couple more verses. "Yet I will not leave the guilty unpunished." From this passage, these words became known as the 13 attributes of God's mercy. The sages before us, they understood this episode at the moment in which God taught Moses, and through him, all future generations, how to pray when atoning for sin. Eventually, these attributes became the basis of the special prayers known as slichot, prayers of penitence, like that special service we use to kick off the High Holy Day season in the fall. That God abounds in compassion and lives in love and in forgiveness is an essential element of the Jewish tradition. There was that caveat, though, at the end, right? "Yet the Eternal does not leave the guilty unpunished." And this stipulation tells us that there is forgiveness, but also punishment, maybe a reprimand. So too, our namesake, the prophet Micah, speaks of both compassion and justice. Why? Why must there be justice as well as compassion, punishment as well as forgiveness? The sages asked, why did God just abandon justice altogether? Why is forgiveness alone not enough? For this, with the help of the late great rabbinic scholar, Rabbi Jonathan Sachs, we turn to Garrett Harding's famous 1968 paper about the tragedy of the commons. He asks us to imagine an asset with no specific owner, common land that belongs to everyone, like the sea, for example, and the fish it contains. The asset, the land or the sea, it provides a livelihood to many people, farmers and fishermen. Eventually, it attracts too many people. There is overpasturing, overfishing. The resource is depleted. The pasture is at risk of becoming a wasteland. The fish are in danger of extinction. What happens then? The common good demands that everyone from here on practice restraint. They must limit the number of animals they graze or the number of fish that they catch. The people complain. What is this about supply chain issues? Some individuals are tempted to not follow the rules. They continue to overpasture or overfish. They pour water instead of wine into the vat. Oh, they justify to themselves that the gain for them is great and the loss for others is small, since it's divided by many. Self-interests take precedence over the common good. And if enough people act on these instincts, the result is a disaster. Is it not? This is the tragedy of the commons. And it explains how parts of the pandemic, how environmental and other catastrophes occur. A key problem is the free rider, the person who pursues their self-interest without bearing their share of the cost of the common good. This burden on a shared resource that is created by its use or its overuse by people who aren't paying their fair share of it or aren't paying anything at all, they can occur in any community, large or small. We have them here at Micah. Because of the importance of this type of problem, it has been intensely studied. I Googled it. The results were awesome. First off, tons of experiments reveal that when other people realize there's a free rider among them, the tendency is to figure out who and to punish them. That's not exactly how we do it here at Micah. But I was curious about the role of religion. And a whole series of experiments has shed light on the role of religious practice in such circumstances. Tests have been carried out in which participants can cheat, and they can gain by doing so. If, without any connection being made to the experiment at hand, participants have been primed to think religious thoughts, maybe by being shown words of God, for example, or by being reminded of the 10 Commandments, they cheat significantly less. It gets better. What is particularly fascinating about such tests is that outcomes, they show no relationship to the underlying beliefs of the participants. What makes the difference is not believing in God, but rather being reminded of God before the test. This may very well be why daily prayer and other regular rituals are so important. You can either experience the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. It says that in Uvchot B'Chaim. The choice is yours. What affects us at moments of temptation is not so much background belief, but the act of bringing that belief into our awareness. It's why there are so many physical reminders in Judaism. The kippah or yarmulke, right? The mezuzah on the doorpost. Rabbi Flip, how do you keep that thing on your bald head? I don't. It falls off. And it reminds me all the time of God, of my role as a rabbi, or anything else I might be doing. So, what resonates with you? Do you think in terms of divine forgiveness or divine justice and punishment? Because I have a few colleagues who are kind of known as those hellfire preachers, and I know lots of other people who speak in the still small voice of love. Which is more effective? I imagine for atheists or agnostics that there's no difference. But among us believers, the difference is significant. Those who believe in a punitive God cheat and steal less than those who believe in a forgiving God. And what about the free riders in those common good situations? Are you more apt to forgive them or to punish them? Research reveals that people who believe in a punitive God punish people less than those who believe in a forgiving God. I know. Meaning that those who believe that, as the Torah says, God does not leave the guilty unpunished, are more willing to leave punishment to a higher power. And those who focus on divine forgiveness are more likely to practice human retribution or revenge. So it became clearer to me why, at the very moment that God is declaring these divine attributes of compassion and grace and forgiveness, God insists that the guilty will not be left unpunished. Because a world without divine justice would be one where there is more resentment and more punishment and more crime. And there would be less public spiritedness, less forgiveness, even among religious believers. The more we believe that God punishes the guilty, the more forgiving we become. And the less that we believe that God punishes the guilty, the more resentful and punitive we become. This is totally counterintuitive to the truth. And yet, it allows us here at Micah to see the profound wisdom of the Torah in helping us create a human and compassionate community. Commenting on the many economic and social problems that American society confronts, Newsweek columnist Robert J. Samuelson wrote, "We face a choice between a society where a people accept modest sacrifices for a common good or a more contentious society where groups selfishly protect their own benefits. Our most fundamental social problems grow out of this widespread pursuit of our own individual interests." That doesn't happen here at Micah. This common good notion, it's pretty old, probably originated thousands of years ago, writings by like Plato and Aristotle, Cicero. Today, it should lead us to an accessible and affordable public healthcare system. It should cause us to prioritize public safety and security and education. It should force us to create a more legal and just legal and political system, and to care more about our polluted environment, and to think about how we might create a more flourishing economic system for all of us. Thing is, the common good doesn't just happen. Establishing and maintaining it, it requires cooperative efforts. Here, I think we Jews can model the difference between a contract, which expresses our individual rights, and a covenant, which benefits all. The kind Moses and the Jewish people entered back in the Sinai desert in the Torah. So tonight, I am thankful that there are many of us here who fill our cups with wine, not water, so that together we fill the vat of our Micah community, and that might extend and become an example to others. Shabbat shalom. Okay. See how they're joining hands? They do that every week. I just planned it this week. We do that as a symbol for the words of Aleinu. We never like to put anyone on the spot, but we have the Averys. They're like our ark door openers. Does anyone else want to come close to Torah? They can join the Averys. Pause. They're coming. The rest of us rise. You're more than welcome to join. The words of Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, lateit gedula liotzer bereshit, shelo asanu kigoye haratzot, velo samanu kamishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, v'gor aleinu kachol hamonam, v'nachnu korim, umishtachavim umodim, lifnei melech Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. V'nemar, v'haya Adonai, l'melech al kol haaretz, bayom hahu, yeh Adonai echad, u'shemo echad.
I look out this evening and I see a lot of people coming together again, and yet I'm consciously aware that I know many of you are in this room to observe the yahrzeit of a loved one. We recall on the anniversaries of their deaths Seymour Itkowitz, Moselle Pollack, Molly Stein, Ethel Heller, Bernice Girdstein Gordon, Samuel Goldman, Diane Barnett, Benita Nix James, Harry Rappaport, H. Dale Yenzer, David Massow, Jean Barish, Nathan Yura, Dorothy Brody, Stephen Latter, Bruce W. Shaloff, Larry Hunter, Ethel Wittenberg, Rachel Olsky, Joseph Horn, and Robbie Steiger Keller. We also continue to mourn for Stephen Cooper, Evelyn Richmond, and Barbara Brooke. If there are names I've neglected to mention or just any ones you'd like to say aloud. We add to those names all people who have been a blessing to humanity, and we invite you to join us in the words of Kaddish Yatom, our mourner's Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabba, be'alma divra hirute, be'amlik malchute, b'chayakon uv'yomachon uv'chayed akol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'imru, amen. Yehei shmei rabba mevarach le'alam u'lalmei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudisha brichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata damiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlomo rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. We ask, as always, that the source of peace send comfort to all people who are mourning, may be bereaved. We say one final time together, amen. I invite you to sit briefly, because I got like a long list of announcements. The announcements are getting longer because spring is coming, and we're hopeful we're going to be able to actually do some cool stuff. So, first off, I'm doing Torah study in the morning. It's a great group. We've got a nice size. We have fascinating conversation. You don't have to stay the whole time. You can pop in and out. It's like a Zoom thing. You don't have to leave your couch. Schmooze and Views continues on Thursdays at 10:30 a.m. That does happen both in person and on Zoom. And the few of us who have been coming would love to have more of you in the room. Mahjong takes place on Tuesdays. That's 12:30 here in our social hall. We will have in-person religious school this week. And Rabbi Lori is going to be part of the Nashville Board of Rabbis and Cantors discussion on The Wandering Jew. It's a book. You don't have to read it and still can attend the program. It is fascinating. I did read it. That program is going to be on Thursday, February 24th at 7 p.m., and it's on Zoom. Again, you don't have to leave your couch. The Micah Children's Academy, in preparation for Purim, is selling Hamanatashim. They're going to help raise money for plants and gardening supplies for our preschool. So order forms can be found on our website, and they want that information by next Shabbos. Next Shabbat, we will be recognizing Jewish Disability Awareness and Inclusion Month, which is the month of February, and we've got some special things that are planned for that, including closed caption for you all that will be watching that at home. Our monthly drive is to collect books, children's books for Bookem. So if you've got some gently used ones at home or some new ones you want to purchase, that would be great, and you can drop them off right here at Micah in our bins. You can always see more details about our programs and our other offerings and what's on Zoom and finding the links and all those kinds of things in our weekly email blast and on our website. I also have this note. I should have looked at it before during our celebration. I got a shout out to Isabel Belzer, 87 this week. That's pretty cool. I give a clap for that. Let's make a toast. Let's do a kiddush. We invite you to rise one final time.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lama'aseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila lamikra kodesh zecher letziat mitzrayim kivanu v'acharta yotanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha b'ahava uvra
הנחלתנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, מקדש השבת.
Amen. L'chaim, l'chaim. We wish you all a Shabbat Shalom. Say hi to Mindy Drongowski, our membership director, and Carrie Tappy, our executive director, on your way out. Thank you all for being here.
Say shalom